Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Greetings, family, and welcome back to Raising the Vibe. I am thrilled to present my first video of 2022. It is an interview with a brother who has traveled to Tanzania multiple times as well as to South Africa. And we met for the interview at a Black-owned vegan restaurant in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland area. So I hope you enjoy it. Hi, brother. It's so good to see you again and be here, having an opportunity to fellowship with you. How are you today?
Doing great. Yes, good to see you, my sisters. Good to be here. Good to be amongst the living.
Right. I know, that's right.
Indeed.
Would you care to introduce yourself?
So my name is Haki Ammi, the Success Scholar. So, from the Baltimore as well as the whole Maryland area. So, yes.
Okay, and you are very active in terms of Pan-Africanism, YouTube, all of that. Right. Can you share your YouTube channel with us?
Certainly. The easiest way, it's Raising Consciousness and Capital, and you can Google in this YouTube search engine. I also have a Facebook group called Raising Consciousness and Capital. So that's what.
Okay, and then you also have a teaching institute, or you're a member of the teaching institute?
Well, soon I'll be the president of the Teaching Artists Institute as we reincorporate. The Teaching Artists Institute has been around about 5 years now, officially. And so what we do is, outside of the tours, we do tours, of course, to different countries in Africa, and there's been some done in the Caribbean area, in the Caribbean, but basically it's educating various artists as well as teaching artists that artists just are not artists in a sense. You're community activists, as well as teaching how to be self-sustaining and teaching entrepreneurship as well, because we understand that most artists, for instance, singers, dancers, drummers, or and not just art in the sense of dancing or singing or anything, but art can be many different aspects. So we bring art and artists to many different spheres of education and things like that. So basically, we do tour-rated cures that are artist-led as well. So that's the uniqueness in terms of, for instance, the tours. As a Pan-African based organization, we want people to see and learn different countries from the lens of the artists that are on the ground there, because generally they have the pulse of the people in these countries. So,
all right, my brother, so you were explaining to us about why it is that you focus on the continent, and I wanted to bring out that you have gone multiple times annually to Tanzania and recently to South Africa. Can you share with us what your experience has been like being in those countries?
Certainly, yes, and definitely. We had the opportunity in 2021. We went to Tanzania, I believe in June or July, and then in October we went to Tanzania and South Africa in November. So it was a lot, particularly the one in Tanzania and then South Africa, like within 2-3 weeks. But we realized that sometimes you gotta get things in when you can. So both were powerful experiences, going with different groups that we took different groups with. As generally speaking, most of the tours that we do are group centered, but we also do things logistically for people that want to go themselves or take that small group. We don't always have to go with individuals, but sometimes the expertise and experience and the networks that we have on the ground in some of these countries, it's valuable. So I'll take, for instance, in Tanzania, each time we learn something new, that each African country, for instance, prepares you for different things that you don't expect. And so as I hear from fellow travelers, because I haven't gone to some of the western parts of Africa myself, but they say that Tanzania is a different world, if you will.
I've been to East and to West. And the question that I wanted to know, and I'm not sure on the timing, did you go to Tanzania during Magufuli and post his death?
We
and
did.
What would
Yes.
did you notice any differences?
I can't totally say I was paying like that much attention in terms of, there was just COVID, and they love Magufuli. I think we left just before he transitioned, and so we were able to see the first time. We were able to see the funerals and talk to some people on the ground that were there. So we saw, the outpouring of love. So
Did you see a difference in their COVID protocols between the first time
correct, yes.
and the second time?
Yes, that's definitely what I saw, that, they were more following different protocols. I really didn't get that people were talking about vaccines much. I believe that there's bigger talks about that now, but definitely in terms of masks at the airport, that was something that was more mandatory that they emphasized. So, but other than that, out in the streets, we still didn't see like a whole lot of masks. Even I didn't see a whole lot of masks, and I stayed in the second time, this year. 2021. I was in Bagamoyo, Arusha, and Zanzibar, but I was in Dar es Salaam, which is the capital.
I've been there, which is very modern, like compared to the country I recently went to, Gambia.
Yes.
Tanzania,
yes.
Dar es Salaam is very much more advanced, with much more infrastructure.
Correct. Yes. Lots of traffic sometimes. But,
yeah. And those buses with the people all jammed into them.
Right. Yes. And I was actually considering riding one of them. I was like, why did I even think about that?
I just was
now?
taking pictures and laughing, like, oh my gosh.
So,
were they welcoming to you on both occasions, to African Americans? Because everybody that went with you was from America, right?
Correct. I think since we have our connections there, sometimes knowing the right people, you get different treatments, and they know you're not like this is not your first time here. So people kind of respond to you a little different, and so we have our people on the ground that sort of know us, and that's one of the key benefits that we offer, just having those relationships. People are not going in, and you don't have to worry per se about feeling like, can I trust A, B, or C? Because sometimes it's like people will overcharge you.
They will fleece you. Yeah,
yes.
we had contacts in Tanzania, natives, also a woman from Ethiopia who had married a Tanzanian and had children and lived there. So, definitely it makes a difference.
Right, agreed. And so, people travel to Tanzania for different reasons. I personally, I've had opportunities to go to different parts of Africa over the years, but I've turned different things down for different reasons. But when this opportunity presented itself, several things were going on. First, Donald Trump was potentially may have been reelected, and so as a conscious black man and as a conscious Pan-Africanist, I recognize that, maybe it's time to plant some seeds and say, okay, this may be an opportune time to build some allies, and no better place to do that in Tanzania. We learn, the relationship that Julius Nyerere had with the former president of Tanzania, that he had throughout, with Nelson Mandela and the Steve Bikos of the world, and the president of Ghana. I'm sorry, not Jomo Kenyatta. No,
You're talking about Nana
Kwame.
Kwame Nkrumah.
Nkrumah. Okay, thank you. So just the role that Tanzania held with several freedom fighters and,
Absolutely.
and the Ujama movement. So understanding that, as well as some of the touristy stuff that people want to see, the indigenous cultures of the Maasai.
Who I loved.
Oh, yes.
Who were from Kenya, but were primarily, when we were there, primarily security guards in Tanzania, the Maasai warriors.
And you mean in Dar, or I didn't see many in Dar.
Is it in Arusha? It was somewhere.
Yeah, definitely in Arusha,
Yeah.
further north. Yeah, definitely in Arusha, and a lot of on the Zanzibar Island as well. Yeah, rarely see them in Bagamoyo. Have you been to Bagamoyo? Or not?
I have not.
Yeah, okay. That's where the historic slave ports actually were, and I did a show on that with Brother Tariq. He's getting his PhD at Temple, but he lived in Tanzania for I believe in Zanzibar. He went to the University of Dar or University of Zanzibar, one of those, but he studied the slave trade there from Bagamoyo to.
I wasn't aware they had
Zanzibar.
that. I went to the one in Gambia. I went to one in Senegal, but I was not. We're always told that the slave trade was primarily on the West Coast, so I didn't even. And it was a while ago. We weren't tuned into that.
You mean the west coast of Africa?
Of
you
Africa,
mean? Yes.
as versus the East Coast.
But that's the Arabs. The Arabs are, for the most part, were the key facilitators of that. And they brought them. And Bagamoyo. What does Bagamoyo mean? Lay your head. Something to the effect of lay your head to rest, because when they came from the interior to Bagamoyo, they rested before they took them to Zanzibar. So it's a unique story, and that's one of the stories, for instance, that we were attempting to tap into. We have a film student on the ground that we're working with now in terms of documenting some of our experiences and putting it into a nice documentary piece, because that's part of the story needs to be told as well, because that kind of encouraged Europeans. They saw what the Arabs did to Africans, and then encouraged Europeans to, try to, do that later. Years
And that
later.
gets drowned out by the later piece with the West Coast.
So Tsuba actually is the university in Bagamoyo. It's art, one of the most prestigious arts, and not arts and science, but arts and music school in Tanzania, in East Africa totally. So there are many Tanzanians as well as Kenyans and others that's from surrounding Ugandans that come to that school to train. So we've been partnering with them over the past few years, and we actually brought some to South Africa.
2020 as well, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you've been there over a period of years now, several times.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Correct.
So how does it compare to South Africa?
Well, South Africa, I noticed, so they are more Americanized in the sense
They
of...
called them, when I was there, they called them the West of Africa, or the Africa of the, something like that. But it was,
Yes.
and some of the wines and stuff like that we had from in other places, even in the Gambia, came from South Africa.
Really? Wow. Yeah, so, it was very educational I mean, we went to the Tanzanian embassy there. We had some Tanzanians with us, so that was
The Tanzanian embassy in South Africa?
Yes, yeah. So we brought the Tanzanians there. They were very excited because they were just like, "How did y'all do this?" Like, it's very expensive.
And it's hard for them. I've learned it's hard for them to get visas sometimes.
Yes. That was for sure. They asked all kind of questions in terms of who are you staying with? Because, well, as well as the gentleman, one of the guys came from Uganda because they realized a lot of people migrate and they don't go back to their countries from different parts of South Africa. So South Africa and other countries don't want people like just making an exodus or something.
And we've heard about tremendous xenophobia in South Africa. Did you see or hear any of that?
Well, I spoke to a lot of different people. So you get different opinions. For instance, I think I was in it with a Somalian, one guy that was a Somalian, and I didn't know. I believe he kind of went through the different ethnic groups that are there. I know there's some Kenyans, some Nigerians. I believe he said some Somalians, like the largest populations that are there. But now, it depends on who you ask. Some people, will say things like, well, the foreigners that have come here, they will work hard. And I mean, now I'm hearing this from some South Africans saying that some of the South Africans, in other words, don't want to work. We heard that before.
Well, it sounds, like a stereotype associated with us. Once slavery's over, once we're not working for free anymore, they seem to have a problem.
Right. So...
Or in their case, apartheid. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off.
But I didn't hear that from the other groups, for instance, like saying it in a derogatory term towards South Africans. Most of them, I mean, they come, they're trying to work, but it's people are still struggling there. And like the driver that we had, he said he hasn't worked for months. Like, and I was like, months? He said, like 4 or 5 months. He said he hasn't had, he had a big van, but he said he hasn't, and I don't know if that was COVID related.
Yes, impacted, I think, for sure.
Yes. It definitely did after we left. There was, a few weeks after we left, they shut down. Yes, they did shut down.
So that's what I heard, that people were being jumped on the street and all that because the South Africans were resenting them for taking the jobs away from South Africans.
Yes. Well, yes, I did. I saw some things, online about that. Yes,
but nothing you never saw anything of that nature?
No. I mean, I think they may be like cliquish still. So outside of their work, if they like Uber drivers, the different people, if they come into South Africa, I think that most, you probably won't see them, like much. They probably just hang in their own, like.
The foreigners, you mean?
The foreigners, maybe.
Especially with what's going on, too.
Networks. Yes. So, but it was a nice experience visiting. We were in Johannesburg for the most part at the Prison Island, it was called. It was actually
it's not Robben Island anymore?
Well, no, Robben Island is in Cape Town. That's where Mandela actually
was incarcerated. So there's another place called Prison Island?
Prison Island. Well, not Prison Island. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Capitol Hill Prison. Now, I don't know if they still call it prison, but that's where we actually held our conference at the Teaching Artists Institute conference, autism conference. So that was a nice experience, but to learn how the South Africans were treated during apartheid.
Oh my God.
I mean, to hear stories of how they would make the prisoners, get on their hands and knees and scrub floors, and they couldn't look at the prison guards in their face. It was just
a number of South Africans that are here that I may follow on social media or whatever seem to really relate apartheid to slavery, not even to Jim Crow, but to slavery, and to seem to feel that we have experienced similar subjugation and mistreatment, I would say.
Yes, no, I can imagine. I mean, I saw the similarities, and I've heard things in terms of how white people interact with black people. They're still
and still haven't, despite Mandela, the reconciliation, all of that, they still don't have their land. White people still have most of the land.
Agreed. And interesting, we went there, I believe, just after the elections. So they have several different parties. Again, it's like 11 of them. Some are more prominent than others. But it seems as though what many black people here in the United States, we know about the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, and that's what is his name? Julius.
No,
yes.
Malema. I love. I have questions now, but I used to love Malema.
Yes. So it's interesting in terms of observation, observing how Europeans actually, the Afrikaner, what are they called?
Afrikaners,
yes.
The Boers.
Yes, how they still are in control of
the resources.
Right. So,
and what is political power without any resource? And I don't even know if it's political power, political position.
Basically,
So
yes.
where are you guys going this year, Haki?
So tentatively, for the first time, we're launching the Teaching Artists Institute in the Gambia. We've been doing some work there before, but not just the Teaching Artists Institute, the Summer Learning Institute, shall I say, which is what we did in Tanzania last summer and this summer as well. I'm sorry.
So you go to the Gambia in lieu of Tanzania,
no,
or
both,
in addition
both,
to?
Yes.
So not South Africa, but Tanzania and Gambia.
Correct. Yes. So it'll just be a couple days in each, and we'll have some different people. I may not totally be in both places all the time. I definitely will be in Tanzania, but because it's really strange, because it's easier. You can't fly to Gambia and then just fly over to Tanzania. It's like you don't.
Oh, really?
Well, my understanding,
it depends on the countries. Like we flew from Tanzania to Zambia, which is in southern Africa.
Right.
And you probably flew there to from Tanzania to South Africa.
Right.
But I guess to Gambia
there may not be
would be a different situation.
Yes. So I think it's perhaps based upon the numbers, how many people are going from, say, Ghana to Egypt or something. There may be some other major markets that they may fly one a day or something, or they might, like you said, the South Africa line. So I could see how they did that, but actually there were some flights from Tanzania to South Africa, so that did happen, and Uganda.
But that's here too. There are states that you can't fly directly to. You got to go to some crazy hub that's off the beaten path. And you're why am I in Charlotte if I'm going to, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I assume perhaps about the Gambia. So, but I don't know much about the Gambia. I know Dr. Jahi Issa is there right now. He has repatriated, and he's a strong Garveyite brother.
I've been there a couple times, so we can chat about it. I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to give you an opportunity to have say anything else you want to say about TAI or about raising consciousness and capital or any other thing, or Pan-Africanism in general that you might want to close with?
Right, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So we're looking forward to expanding the Teaching Artists Institute and working with different artists, as well as bringing instructors of different types to our Summer Learning Institute this summer, either in the Gambia or in Tanzania. So, as well as students, I mean, it's still the opportunity for cross-cultural immersion. So we're offering and hoping that we have some young students, mostly college or even high school, 12th, 11th grade, that would consider going to the Gambia, well, not the Gambia, but to Tanzania, because the Gambia is just for instructors this year, but we have, so because we're laying a foundation, so we didn't want to bring any students. Just we have to work out the kinks of getting to the different universities that they have there. But definitely Tanzania. We have 3 trips there, 1 in July and 2 in October this year. So
I may try to join you on one of those. I didn't make it last year, but let's see what's happening with the good old virus.
Right.
I may.
Yeah, it should be gone. I mean, like, how long is this thing gonna last anyway? Like, really?
Forever if they can make it, but
right.
We'll see.
Exactly. If they can keep making money off us, they will. So.
Well, Haki, we're so pleased. I know my Raising the Vibe family is going to be happy to hear this information. I'll drop your YouTube and your any other contacts in the description box so they can reach you. And thank you again for taking this time.
Thank you very much, Queen. Thank you very much, Ken.